Golden State Warriors, man, and Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler joined the team, and the Warriors that kind of looked like they were kind of cratering a little bit. Feels like they saved their season. He's been a revelation for the Warriors, and they look like they are back in the championship hunt. Wade, you've played with Jimmy. You know him very well.
Yeah.
Take us behind the curtain on what it's like being his teammate, and why do you think he's worked so well with Steph specifically?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's a new relationship. We all know when you're getting that new relationship.
Honeymoon phase.
But first of all,
you know when you get that new relationship. We talk about what Martin say. I talked about with my guys. What Martin say? He was like, "What you want, baby?" He's like, "Yo, my man, give her 2 pieces of cheese, hook it up." The lady's like, "You better come on. You better come on." No, so they in the beginning of a relationship. I think Jimmy fits where he's different than what you used to for them, but it actually fits perfectly. Because there's so much attention on Steph on the perimeter. Right. And now Jimmy gets to, kind of, play that space down low a lot. Like you see Draymond hits him a lot in the paint, et cetera. But this is the way Jimmy Butler loves to play basketball. Like Jimmy can go off and like he scored 55 in a playoff game versus, in Miami and so forth and so on. But when I go back to practice in Chicago with Jimmy, and Jimmy plays with the second unit. And when they talk about that, when Jimmy played with the second unit in Minnesota practice, this is how Jimmy plays. 15 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, where he's not looking to necessarily average 25 plus a game. So to be 36 years old, this is the perfect role for him. If he stays in Miami, he has to be the star. Right. He goes to Golden State, he do not have to be the star. Shout out to Jimmy Butler for putting himself in a position that he can end his career the way that he wanted to. And he got himself out of a situation where a lot would have been on him to do what he was like. He wouldn't have got that $100 million possibly in Miami because you got to go out and average 25 plus and you got to take us to this level for us to pay you as a star. Now he moves to second, third, some nights fourth option where he can just be Jimmy Butler and he can in his career the last few years doing the things that he really, really does very well. And that's all the things in the game of basketball. So I love it. I love the fact that I get to see the Jimmy that I know at this point in his career.
The way it ended though was very interesting because of the relationship with Pat Riley. You have a relationship with Pat. You know what I mean? Like
y'all know it's very well documented. But I look at it like this. I look at it so many different ways. I feel that when you have the upper hand, you got to take it. Yeah. And if it gets to the end of the season, the Miami Heat has the upper hand. Jimmy Butler took his upper hand before they get to the end of the season. And he, like I said, he got himself up out of it. So no matter how loud it was, Jimmy did what Jimmy wanted to do.
Mission accomplished.
He put himself in a position where he took his upper hand in the time where he had it to get what he wanted. If the Heat get to the end of that season, they now have the upper hand and they get what they want. And it diminishes his value a little bit and all these things because Jimmy dealt with a lot of injuries over there. The offense wasn't about Jimmy no more over there. It was more of an inclusive offense. Tyler Hero, he's now healthy. We pushing him up. So Jimmy Butler is one of the smartest human beings that I know. Let's not get it twisted. He's very smart, very calculated. And so I see your move, player. I like it. I like it.
I'll fuck with it.
I see your move.
Sometimes bullies get bullied, man.
I just hate that for us.
Yeah, for sure.
I hate that for Miami.
I don't like how the bullshit started to creep in, right? But I think both parties did what they supposed to do. Jimmy stood on. We talk about standing on what you stand on. Right. Jimmy stood on. He stood tall.
Yeah. It was time.
It's time.
It was time.
Let's not even play around with this shit. Like I hear everything that's going on. I hear the little whispers. I hear the side conversations. I know what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. Right? Let's not play this game.
Nah.
If you don't want to get me out of here, I'm gonna get myself out of here.
I hate the PR game that's been played.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I understand it, but I hate the PR game that's been played. What Jimmy did in Miami, not a lot of players that's going to put on that jersey is going to be able to accomplish. He didn't do it by himself. Right. But as the leader of that team, as the best player, what he did there, not many players that will put that jersey on will be able to do that. So for the legacy of the Miami Heat organization, I hope one day he can come back and sit courtside and we can all sit there and laugh and joke. But also too, Jimmy may not ever come back.
Yeah, it's over.
That's going to take some time. That's going to take
a lot of time.
I'll ask you this though. Like,
Jimmy might go to a Minnesota game before he go
to all right, so like
that's crazy.
I'll put like this though, right? Like in addition, you talk about what it sort of meant for the Heat franchise, right? Like a big part about the Heat franchise is Heat culture and what that meant to, not just Pat Riley and Spo and yourself and all that type of stuff. Do you think the way Jimmy left and the way it all sort of rolled out and where Miami is now, do you think that sort of put like a little bit of a dent or a damper or change of what people see as Heat culture right now?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think Jimmy challenged Heat culture. I thought Jimmy was challenging Heat culture the whole time. I mean, obviously, I have a little bit more insight, you know, and so they had to bend a little bit, you know, and you have to do that. In as the game, you know, Pat has had to bend a little bit as the game has changed and evolved, as the player has changed and evolved. So he had to bend a little bit, but at the same time, you know, as long as that structure is there, as long as Pat turning 80 in a couple of days, as long as Pat's still there, as long as Nick's still there, Mickey's still there, all of them there, the culture is not going to go anywhere.
Right.
And as I said, when people was coming out talking about the stain on the Heat culture, it's like, that's not going to stop a player from going to Miami.
No.
It's not going to stop a player from actually going to get a $300 million in Miami, going to play for the Miami Heat.
Word.
Not at all. So
No
I don't know what kind of stain, but that's a tie to go. You getting that stain right out. We rock it. So, nah, that ain't no real stain, but I don't like it. Yeah. I don't like it for our organization because, you know, you don't want the great players to come through your organization and every time, you know, it's time for someone to move on, both sides, for someone to break up, that it has to go this way. You know, it has to go a way where, you know, they leave and it's never, you know, it's not, it should be give him his flowers on his way out the door.
Right.
But also, Jimmy I can't say it was handled well on either side. I just don't like it because I look at Shaq had to leave and it was ugly how Shaq left. Mine wasn't ugly, but the fact that I left, everybody was like, what went on? I didn't say anything about it. Y'all just heard me sign with the Chicago Bulls. But it's all love at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. You forgive and you don't forget. My grandma taught me that. So you never forget. But you definitely forgive and you move on because you don't want to hold that weight. I love the Miami Heat. I love everything, you know, I learned so much from them. I still utilize it in my everyday today. Every day I wake up, I utilize something that I learned there, but I also don't forget. And that makes me better in business. And that also made me, I think it made me a better man because of everything that went down there. And so I'm appreciative of it, but it was some bullshit that went down too now.